Good morning, good afternoon. People are pouring in. I'll be letting you in as we begin our celebration of Joan Logghe and family for this gorgeous book. So wherever you're coming from today, thank you for being here. I'm Judith Hill, managing editor of Wild Rising Press, and Wild Rising book designer Mary Mead is also here. And we are so pleased, so honored to be introducing Joan Logghe, who needs no introduction, for this truly thrilling launch of her new, unique, beautiful collection of her poetry and her paintings with contributions from her family. Jade Bird singing Grief. Joan Logghe lives a life of poetry in La Puebla, New Mexico. This is where she and her husband, Michael, many years ago, built their solar houses, raised 3 children, and now have a little Logghe dynasty of 5 grandkids and 1 great-grandson. Oh, and usually and over the years, there's chickens and sometimes a horse, cats, kittens, a dog or 2, potlucks, and the constant swirl of sweet, sweet community. It is exactly what you would imagine for a superstar of New Mexico poetry. Joan has taught poetry to all age groups and all over the world, from UNM Los Alamos to the children in Central Europe. She is passionate and has been her whole life about nurturing the young poets of our place. Joan taught at Santa Clara Pueblo Day School and for 21 years at the Santa Fe Girls School. Joan has led a yearly workshop at Ghost Ranch since 1990 and has just returned from her last workshop, led magnificently, and I bet some of the audience here today are still lit up from the extraordinary experience of studying and writing with her. Over the years, Joan has experienced and shared the healing power of poetry, running art and writing workshops, AIDS writing circles, and workshops for crisis, illness, and loss. Joan was Santa Fe Poet Laureate from 2010 to 2012. Joan has inspired and edited countless books by children and adults. And for many, many years, Joan was the poetry editor for Peggy O'Mara's Mothering magazine. Her awards, which are numerous, I will just list a few, include National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship, Witterbinner Foundation for Poetry Grants, a Mabel Dodge Lujan internship, and the Barbara Deming Money for Women grant. Joan is a powerhouse of poetry. She's authored many, many collections of poetry, including What Makes a Woman Beautiful, the famous 20 Years in Bed with the Same Man, Sophia, Blessed Resistance, Rice, The Singing Bowl, and Unpunctuated Awe, Poems of Santa Fe, as well as several anthologies, Another Desert, Jewish Poetry of New Mexico, co-edited with poet Miriam Sagan, and Love and Death, Greatest Hits, co-edited with Miriam Sagan and Renee Gregorio, with whom she was part of the dynamic publishing trio Tres Chicas. Today, we are here not only to honor Joan and not only to honor the writing and artwork of Joan and family. We are here today to honor this book and the brave, generous, heart-opening act of writing from the deepest places in our human experience of grief, joy, and love. Today, we will have the pleasure of hearing Joan read selections from Jade Bird singing Grief, see some images from the book's paintings, and you will have the opportunity to ask Joan questions after her reading. Today, we invite you to please buy your copy of Jade Bird singing Grief. Today is the book's release date, and we are asking you to buy it today to help us honor Infant Loss Awareness Month. And also, because the more folks who buy the book today and later go on Amazon to write a review, the further this book will travel. And we want this incredible work to get out in the world. So I'm going to be putting the link to purchase the book in the chat throughout Joan's reading and your conversations with her, starting right now. And I want to say for Mary and I that it was an enormous privilege for us to be the press that Joan chose for Jade Bird Singing Grief. And now, with great joy, I give you the poet herself, Joan Logghe.
Judith, you are a phenomenal friend. I can't even believe how gorgeous that intro was. Thank you so much. So here we sit. Our family was having a talking circle a few months back. I don't even know how many months back it was. And we meet at a beautiful in-the-ground space that my son-in-law Leland has made. And we go around, we have a fish. We pass the fish as a talking stick because the fish brings some nice waves to our conversation, and we speak from our heart, and no one else can speak while we're speaking. And what came to me one day was I've been doing paintings of corn, and I'd been writing a little bit about Jade Bird, but I said out loud, I'm feeling we should do a book about Jade Bird. And I knew how much work a book takes, and I didn't believe it would come true. I just said it. I was almost scared to say it because of the subject matter, a baby that died after 4 days on life support, and what is life and what is death. But it sort of started happening. I didn't understand about the corn. So one time Leland and I were in the blue corn. I remember it was the blue corn. And I said, Leland, could you explain to me why corn features into this relationship with a baby? And Leland, who honors his dreams as we do, I don't know, our family just is one that honors our dreams. And we like, when we have really powerful ones, we like to tell them to each other. And Leland had a magnificent dream, and I'm going to read you a little bit of it. There are 5 of us that contribute to this book. Just, you'll hear from a few of us, but I'll be the reader today. Leland said, the corn chose us and we chose the corn. And he had a series of dreams. An elder beckoned me over to the far wall and lifted up a translucent cream-colored stone door. Behind the door was a niche or small hole in the wall, which contained a sculpture made of the same stone. It had the face of a child and the body of an ear of corn. I beheld the beauty and sacredness of the corn child. He heard a voice saying, your baby is a girl and her name is Jade. A week later, the ultrasound confirmed that she was indeed a girl. It was then my wife, my daughter Hope, agreed that her name must be Jade. Another time, he followed a trail running through the woods, and the dream images came floating back into his mind. And he was again overwhelmed with the potency and presence of corn elders. From somewhere deep in his psyche and beyond, I heard a voice say, we gave you our daughter. What are you going to do now? He understood this to be a call to honor the gifts that Jade's life and death had bestowed upon our family and community. When he plants and tends to his corn each year, he tends to Jade and the corn elders as well as his own blood ancestors. Our family are pollinated by all the wisdom their combined legacy carries. And this corn behind is from this year's harvest, Navajo pink corn. Oh, Hopi pink corn. My daughter Hopi just reminded me that, because she's called Hope. So I was trying to connect this corn with a baby in it, struggling, but trusting. And the kids led the way all through this journey. And I was the elder following along. And I happened to hear one time out of the corner of my ear, if the ear has a corner, on PBS, they were talking about Indigenous people, and someone said, corn is maiden, corn is mother, corn is baby, corn is sister, corn is earth. And I scrambled to write it down before I forget it, and I didn't forget it. This poem is called Jade Seed. Right? Has anyone ever lost as beautiful a baby as we have? Cheeks that would have lived into 1,000 pinches, plump thighs perfectly lost. It turns out plenty of people lose daily. We need loaves and fishes and water and Miriam's well, the holy singing as our baby never got to. And I can't live as if you never were. And I can't die without you in me. You bring hummingbirds to the sweet and pollinators to the Buddleia, made of white corn and red as you are, now growing in loam. And your little family calls you a seed, and every planting is for you. Let's see. I'm not clear where I am, which is fine. Oh, this one? Okay. When we were in the hospital, which was the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh, a place I'd never been and never hoped to be, the whole family was there and we needed food. So I went across the street and we ordered takeout Indian food. And I wrote this poem, which is in the Pantoum form, which my students just wrote last week. And it's called After Life Support Life. I came here to write about grief, but propriety censored me. The numbers of griefs are endless. I vow to grieve them all. Love overtook me, jangling her ankle bells. The waiter holding tandoori chicken said, all will be well. The number of griefs are endless. I vow to grieve them all. Across from Children's Hospital, I turned to Salt. The man from India House poured water and said, all will be well. I came here to write about sky, but there were pebbles in my shoe. Across from Children's Hospital, I found myself turned to Salt. I came here to exorcise ghosts. I found myself rattling bones. I came here to write about sky, but there were pebbles in my shoe. I came here with too many books. I came here to write about you. I came here to write about ghosts. I found myself rattling bones. I heard a rattlesnake shake. It was my cell phone breathing for you. I came here with too many books. I came here to write about you. I have stick-tight burrs in my socks. I walk like a penitent Jew. I heard a rattlesnake shake. It was my cell phone breathing for you. I found myself drying out tears, my towel wet with the blues. I have stick-tight burrs on my socks. I walk like a penitent Jew. I wanted to write out the loss. It brought me to holding you. I found myself drying out tears, my towel a deeper blue. Love overtakes us, her ankle bells jangling. I wanted to wring out the loss. My eyes focus only on you. I came here to write about grief. I love this poem and it has a mystery in it for me. Here's this white person from India across the street from the Children's Hospital. And he says to this weeping woman, all will be well, all will be well. And I just wonder about that. And I thank him for those words because they stuck with me. And right now, I have to tell you, at this moment in time, at this place with all of you, things are well for a minute in time. So what are we doing next? We have this all coded. It's totally great.
Rainwater and showing the painting Corn Shadow.
Corn shadow, rainwater. One of the things about this book that I realized, and I said, Judith, I just realized the book is kind of like a memoir with prose at the beginning and then turns into kind of a poetry collection at the end. And she said she had noticed that all along, but I'm a little slower than Judith to say. Rainwater. And I'd like to dedicate this to our friend Taz, who I hope is still here. After we mourned, after we buried the ashes of Jade Bird, we tossed in flowers and jade beads. My children leaned over the grave of my grandchild. After we fed 100 people, after one said, "This is not my cup of tea," after others said, "This was one of the most meaningful things," after we had completed some of the grief work, Taz brought us a quart jar of rain. She said, "After the mourning on our pueblo, we wash in rainwater." This was Hope's last day at home, time to catch a plane. We poured rainwater on our hands, maybe on each other's hands, I don't remember. We sang a little, spoke of the blessings and teachings from Jade Bird, a child that lived 4 days on life support in my home city of Pittsburgh. We'd all been through so much, my daughter, my son-in-law, and 3-year-old Kalea. We stood on this sunny hillside next to the lightning-struck cottonwood tree, the shaman tree, not a cloud in sight, the clear blue of sky. There is no way but to say this. A column of rain, a cylinder, a shaft of rain fell only on us, the mourners, the sacred ones, twice blessed. We felt joy. A hummingbird zoomed by us. We were all buzzed and blessed. Then Hope and her living child got into the car and drove away. Time for that cup of tea. I kept waiting for the old Jewish lady to show up and help. I realized I was already there. Page 6. Am I going to page 6, Miss Helper?
I don't know the six.
Oh, we don't have a 6, so we'll go to 8. No,
Seeds from ancestors.
oh, Seeds from Ancestors. You
Yes,
can
please.
see this one. A lot of the paintings in here, and we're not showing, of course, all of them. Oh, I have such fabulous help and support. This particular one has text around the watercolor. It's all Sharpie and watercolor and really believing in beginner's mind. And the painting started before the book came together. And the other day I did a painting of corn and I went, whoa, I can still paint corn. And it was very soothing for the obvious emotional rift that this put in my life. And depression, real clinical type depression. This really was one of the big helpers beside walking and meds and all that. So a lot of the paintings have text that goes around them. And this one says, "Why do you keep painting corn? As if it weren't a universe, as each kernel isn't carrying a packet from the ancestors, as if there isn't a landscape in each cob." So the name of this painting is Packet from the Ancestors. It's really interesting. They're growing corn here and they grow one variety away from, all the GMO and all the other varieties. And an ear of white corn can produce purple and red and white with purple spots in it. All kinds of things can come in this packet from the ancestors. Page 5, Rain. Are we there?
I'm showing corn born now.
Oh, this is corn born. So this is corn made out of hearts. And this was kind of like the powerhouse image. We were going to have this as the cover. And we love it very much. And it isn't the cover. The cover became my granddaughter and Hope's daughter. What does it say?
Kalea made the Corn Sisters cover.
Kalea did this. It's called Corn Sisters, and I just love it so much. I keep looking at it. She's 11 when she did this. She also dictated prayers. There's about 4 of her prayers in the book. And this was dictated when she was little. So this is Kalea Amaya Guthrie's little prayer. On the other side of the mountain, on the side we can't see, where mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers gather someday on the other side of the mountain. The second little poem is, I think it has the word Jade, but it's not written out. Jade, who is great, I love you. Jade, you're my sister. Jade, bring back her heart. Bring this rock to your heart as she held a rose court on her heart. We can visit you every time. And there was, I don't know if I wrote about it in what I'm going to read, but there was this little mound of dirt where the baby's ashes were, and later in the day, Kalea had put a naked baby doll on the mound. So, how's everyone doing out there? Tell me if you're still with me. Hi, John. John, thank you for being here. There's such beloveds here. I have 2 more poems. Perfect. This one is called Jade Bird. No one will ever have a name as beautiful as Jade Bird. I stand at the garden. We try and plant over your memory. The rabbits eat the jade green leaves from the hen and chicks. Every optimism perishes as you did. How can anything shore us up for these losses? You, so beauty. You, at the end of the day. You, touch and go. You, hummingbird girl. You, unlived more than many lived lives. Your absence, I stand and read the stone. Thunder rumbles in Santa Fe on the eve of the folk art market. Humans come from Cuba and Mozambique, from Pakistan and Mexico. I could name every place you're not and will never go. My friends turn 70 and brag about their travels. I hide under a rock. The only thing that soothes is swimming back and forth in the outdoor pool. My grandson firing fireworks in the parking lot by the barn, the chickens roosting, the rufous hummingbirds clicking and fighting. The mosquitoes arrive with stripes on their knees. Not even with a gin and tonic under my belt can I handle this grandmother's grief. There's a part at the beginning that's in the prose part at the beginning that says, I can't handle this, and yet I do. It always seems that there's things in life that are unhandleable, and sometimes they are, but this is a case where beauty came out of the pain that we all allowed ourselves to feel. In my family, if you're at a funeral and weep a little, they say, oh, she's falling apart. That's falling apart. I cried for 5 months, I think, about this. And I didn't fall apart. So this says page 10, but we already did this page 10.
You're going to read Outside the West Window.
This is the last poem. Oh, I feel so sad to have it be the last poem, but it is. And I can see this window. Out the west window, white banty rooster, red-winged blackbirds, our baby's grave. I am a wealthy woman. I am a wealthy woman.
Joan, that was absolutely exquisite. If you guys want to, and I know you do, you want to praise Joan right now as much as I want to, and our hearts are just with you, with Jade Bird, with the family. That was extraordinary. You guys, if you know how to do your reaction link or to just clap your hands so Joni can see you. And please raise your hands physically or raise your hands inside the chat or write a question in the chat. And let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the work.
I'm just wondering if there's a favorite poem that I left out, but I don't know what it is. Oh, well, that's how a poet always is. Our friend says you have to pry the microphone out of their clenched hands. I'm gonna let it go and see if anybody has anything to ask me about. Or
well, if anyone has a poem they want to ask for, just please put it in the chat, and I'll make sure that Joni is asked. So, any questions, you guys? Anything you want to say? Please unmute and say it.
I always have something to say, so I'll say thank you, Joan, for giving me access to my tears again this morning.
Thanks, Julie, for being there. Julie was there through so much, from making my plane tickets to go back to Pittsburgh when my hands were like this, to now. She's been there for me in extraordinary ways.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do that. It's a gift, mitzvah.
Hey Joan, it's Rachel, Rachel Ray, and I just want to say that I love you all, and I pick up your poetry when I feel like I miss home. And I think for all of us on this call that you give words that really hit the heart. And I just appreciate you. Thanks, Joan.
Thank you, Rachel.
Joan, it's Nancy Wanderer. I just want to thank you for being in my life in such a major way. From the first day you saved that place in line for me at the lunch line in school when I didn't know what the heck I was doing, to writing this book, maybe not even knowing that I had a baby that died at 3 days, 51 years ago. And I am so looking forward to getting this book and spending so much time with it. And I feel like you've saved my life a number of times. And I just want to tell you I love you.
Thank you, Nancy Wanderer. Wow.
Joan, it's Dan Rubenstein. And I wanted to share with all of you who are listening that the last time I heard Joan read was in our creative writing class at Tufts. I think it was in the fall of 1966. So I haven't, and I'm so proud of Joan, so proud of you that you just kept going and kept writing, and what you were doing then, you're still doing. So mazel tov to you, and great work, and keep it up. Never stop, Joan.
Thank you, Dan. Dan was a good friend of my old boyfriend right before Michael, Bob Carruthers. So
Yeah.
he passed on. So he has the writing spirit, and Dan too. So it's wonderful. I love old boyfriends. There's a few of them out there. And there's a current boyfriend, husband across the way.
Hey, Joan.
Who dat?
This is Pat and Melinda here. Can you hear us?
I can. There you are.
We actually had to pull over in our car to listen today. So we're in the car. We wanted to make sure that we got to hear your reading. We already ordered the book. We can't wait to get it. And those paintings are just gorgeous. And we just can't wait to read all the poems.
Thank you so much.
And you have a way with your words of taking these enormous emotions and issues and compressing them into or not compressing, extracting like the essence in the most exquisite way. And it's hard to read or listen to even one of them without weeping, because they touch such a deep place. And you're a gem, and your family is, and we're so grateful to know you and be part of your life.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing this part of your life.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Oh,
Hi,
there's
Tony. It's Jeannie from Santa Fe. It's been a long time.
I can't see where you are, but I hear you.
I'm somewhere. I just want to say you are so exquisite. You have always been exquisite, and you're such an amazing model of what makes a woman beautiful.
Oh, Jeannie was my editor way back.
Sending lots of love to you and your family, and my love to Hope and her daughters.
Thank you so much. I just saw somebody that I was really excited to see, but I lost them. Who was it?
You move through the windows.
Oh, you can move. It's great to have younger people in your life. I've been highly recommending cultivate your young friends. I know who it was. It was Alice McGinnis, who was my 10-minute friend from Prague. We met in Prague, and there she is in the corner now. We met in Prague and spent no time together, and we've had like a little pen pal partnership, and I saw you live once in DC, and she sent me book surprises, and I've sent her poetry. That's my 10-minute friend. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Joan. Right action, old days.
Oh, I don't know who it is.
I haven't provided my name, but you'll probably remember I always had a dog by my side.
And red lipstick.
Thank you so much for your amazing, phenomenal gifts.
It's good to hear from you, person from the
Thank you.
past.
Thank you.
There's my son-in-law just popped in, who wrote so beautifully about his dreams. I excerpted it, didn't give it full appreciation, but I do appreciate this family that, I just have to tell you, we thought each of my children would have like one paragraph. Where's my hands? I don't know where they are, but would have like this much. And they each had such beautiful and full things to say that they ended up being very present in the book. And I'm thrilled for that model of working with family.
Well, Joan, Ray Taylor here in Quebec. Just wanting to thank you so much for the blessing for us of having been able to hear you, and so much gratitude for the holy singing that you offer and that the whole family offers in the book. So thank you for making it a book so we can live with it and continue with you.
You're so welcome, Ray. Thanks for being here from Canada.
You're welcome.
I have to thank my assistant, Sal, who is traveling today. And she called to make sure everything was okay, but she looked at my piles of everything I had, and in about 1 month, mind you, only 3 hours a week, we came up with 3 manuscripts, and this was one of them. And I said, nobody's going to want to read this. And she said, it's going to be beautiful. And she really believed in it when I didn't even see it. She could see it. So I want to thank my unflappable sidekick, Sal. It wouldn't have happened without having a young person that could do computers in my life once a week. Thank you, Sal.
Wow. Love you, Joan. Congratulations.
There she is. See how unflappable she is? Even when she's flying.
Hi, Joan. It's Jessica.
Oh, yes.
And I just want to thank you for, I'm going to cry, being my mother from another mother my entire life. Literally my entire life.
It's true.
We all grew up together, and you were always there, and you always are still. So I remember when I did my college dissertation, I used some of your quotes and your early poetry, just because it felt like home. So, and you're still doing it, which is incredible. So love you, and so amazingly proud of you, and you and your whole family are always part of my heart.
Jessica wrote the very first time I taught any poetry, it was in Chimayo, and Jessica was one of the little 6-year-olds writing with the gang. And I still have that book of construction paper and Xerox.
Yeah,
me too. Read it this week. You still have it too?
Yeah.
I read it this week. I think it's so great that I got to teach poetry in my life.
Yeah. Love you.
Who is that? There's someone very mysterious looking in the corner of one of the. What do you?
Joan, this is Taz. I'd just like to thank you so much for your grief, for the days and days and days of tears falling. In the Mayan traditions, they say there's the people who can't mourn, right? The people who can't cry. And so then there's the ones that do, and they hold the tears for so many people. And I mean, my beautiful, beautiful friends, Hope and Leland, and this loss, I really am grateful that they made it so public. There's so much loss, and there's so many people that experience this in a very siloed way, and allowing us to be there, allowing us, the community, to embrace you and hold you was such a gift in your time of grief, in your time of pain. And I feel like those tears that you cried for so many days were for Jade, for your daughter, for your son, for Kalea, but also too for so many who never grieve, or who haven't been able to grieve, or the community who couldn't reach out and stretch their arms around the ones they love. And so I'm so grateful for you all, and the ways that you allow me to show up in your life over and over in all the moments. And yeah, I'm so blessed, and I'm also so grateful for the relationship I got to have with Jade. It was very sweet, and with all of you. So just thank you for this book. Thank you for honoring your grief. I'm really grateful. I love you all.
I love pause. I felt that in my whole core. My core is not very strong, but it's strong for feelings. I really felt what you said. Thank you, Taz. You all are so amazing. What a great life I've had amongst you.
Oh, sorry. Nancy Hayes Kilgore here. Joan, can you hear me?
I hear you. I don't see your.
Oh, well, I just wanted to tell all of your friends here that it's such an extraordinary gift to know someone in basically childhood. We were teenagers together in school, and then to sort of observe from a distance. And sometimes we interacted. We met at Ghost Ranch once, and that was fun. And but it's so profound what you've expressed, not only in this poetry, but the poetry that I have from before. It's just a lifetime achievement. It's amazing. And just from the same perspective, being the same age now, looking back on our lives and the amazing things that have happened. I'm just saying thank you, Joan, for being you.
You're welcome. We walked to the bus together a lot. And Nancy, how many novels do you have, Nancy?
Well, the fourth one is coming out in January.
Wonderful writer.
Yeah. But here's another memory. We used to have high school reunions, and we would all be dressed in our sort of conservative clothes, and Joan came with all this jewelry and beautiful, colors, and you were just so great to see you there.
Thank you, Nancy. Oh my gosh. I have to save this up in case any dark days should happen. There's one of the poems in here that ends on one of my favorite lines. It's as if you'll never know grief again. The biggest lie there is, but it's the ending of one of the poems. It's as if you'll never know grief again. It's the poem to my friend Daryl. Maybe I should read that poem and end on that.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
I have to find it. It's my childhood friend Dari and Trisha were visiting my house. It's one of the last poems in the book. And then we can go on our merry way. Hope's going to help me find it, maybe.
Joni, before you read your last poem, and really just connected to everything that the people have been saying to you, Mary is asking you about these poems being so full of grief, and she's admiring your bravery in reading them. She says, you read so calmly. How does it feel to read about your grief? Is it hard not to cry?
I think I put in my hours and months. I don't even know how many months I cried. And I think it was like post Jade and pre-COVID. It was almost like it was in the air that something was happening. Or maybe it was the beginning of COVID. I feel like it's digested. I confessed to my friend Michelle about a week ago, I have read these poems a gazillion times. I'm obsessed with them as if they were from someone I don't know. And I've read them so many times. I don't know, I don't usually do that, but I'm so excited about the cover of the book, Kalea's artwork, and the participation of my family. I just feel like it's a rare thing that I couldn't have planned. And Betty and Harry in Pittsburgh would not have expected me to do this, but here I sit in La Puebla, New Mexico. There's a dog at the window coming and going, and there's beauty all around me. I'm confused if you're here or if you're not here. When I'm Zooming with people, I think they're really here. I don't know that there's distance, which is the great gift of the Zoom. But this one I wrote for my friends Dari and Trisha, who are both here. It's called Blue Corn and Red Winged. It has a pretty cool corn on the side, the corn jumping over the moon on the side. For Dari and Trisha. Halfway through the book, I'm writing about grief. The blue corn begins chirping, sounding like pebbles over pebbles, and my daughter said, "Mama." She likes to call me that even now. The birds are devouring the corn. I would have preferred if she'd said devastating of said corn, since that is the word of the grief hour. As it happened, a grade school friend and his wife were here and offered to help, as you were napping when the red-winged blackbird struck. Hence, the three of us and my daughter sallied forth into the blue corn and harvested the pathetic, bird-pecked, blighted ears, only 3 or 4 inches. We must have forgotten to dance for them at planting or sing the blue corn chant, diminutive as they were. Even so, they glowed with a fresh blue translucence, enough to put you into corn harvest trance. We picked them all on a hot September hour, so far from a New York minute. Heat mixing up blue corn with childhood friend who had nothing to do with blue corn, but it's hard to separate today from childhood. We shucked the corn. I roasted and ground and made atole, a blue gruel served up with devastating raspberries, maple syrup, half and half. And for a nourishing moment, we were full and happy. It's as if we'll never know grief again. Thank you for sending me such love. I feel so lucky, and I send a bunch of it back into your hearts as well.
Joan, from the world, this is Trisha, from the world of Vermont and maple syrup, there is always more maple syrup.
What a great thing to say.
And you are my teacher. Thank you.
I'm honored. Ay, ay, ay.
What
Thanks,
beauty.
Judith. Thanks, Judith. Thanks, Mary, for designing this. I don't think it was easy to put all these things together. And they did such a loving job, beyond, beyond, beyond. Is that all we have, Judith?
Yes, darling. I think we did a gorgeous job. I hope.
This is the line in the book that slays me the most is Hope's first line when she says, "I'm the mother." Because she's Jade Bird's mother and lives to tell of it and lives to help other people with grief and with lactation and with taking care of new babies and all of us. She takes care of me too.
It's been a real treat working on this project together, and I'll always treasure just the experience of this family project. Has been really healing and fun and beautiful and all the things. So it's really good to see all your faces. It feels like a great kickoff to this book, and thanks for being here. Lots of love to you all.
She's the mother.
Joni, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to share this really vital gathering for this very, very important book. And for Mary and I at Wild Rising, thank you, Joan. Thank you, Hope. Thank you, Leland. Thank you, Kalea. Thank you, Crystal, for your contributions and for working together so magnificently. This was really an honor. And I love this book. I treasure this book. So thank you all. We love you. Joni loves you. Can't wait to come visit all my friends in La Puebla soon.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jade Bird, for your spirit. Bye.
Bye-bye, Joni.
Bye-bye.
I miss you
Bye-bye,
all
Joni.
already. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you, Joan.
Keep dancing, Joni.
Bye, Tanta.
Bye, dearest Joan.
Rose.
Nobody wants to go.
I know. We should go into a dance party.
Bye, Joan. A question for Judith. After this call ends, can we order off the website thing?
Yes, please. Let me put the link back in the chat for you guys one more time. Yes, you should please buy the book all day, and please tell your friends. Tell your friends. I'm going to put this recording on Facebook, and if you go look on Joni's page, share this with your friends, invite them to buy this book. But today is Infant Loss Awareness Month. It's part of a whole month of this, so this is really the perfect time. And this is going to push Joni's book up so that when people go on Amazon, they'll see Jade Bird singing grief. And that is really what we want. We want that for this book, for this family, and for Jade Bird. So please, yes, I just put the link in again. Everyone, if you would like, click it now, save it, copy and paste it from the chat. You can share it with folks. It'll be on my Facebook page and Joni's, Hope's, Leland's.
It's also available on Joan's website, JOANLOGGHE.com.
All right. Is everybody okay with me doing the final screen share and saying goodbye? I mean, the love knit is so strong. I just want to make sure that everyone feels really complete in saying what they needed to say at this moment.
I miss you all already. Thank you. Thank you. Look at those faces. Oh my God.
I've never been. Oh.
That's all right. You can keep talking. I'm just going to put the cover made by Kalea. We can talk.
I've never been on a Zoom call that no one would leave. People are usually dying to get on with their day, but I haven't seen a single person leave. Joan, we're with you forever.
I don't know if you know that the corn just flew off the wall while we were saying goodbye.
Right as we ended.
And
There's kernels all over the quote. We're like in a sea of kernels from this beautiful.
Oh, I think I should show that. Yeah, show us that. Beautiful.
Together from the corn that we grew, and it jumped off the wall right as she ended her reading. And there's seeds all over the floor that we're picking up.
there's a beautiful poem at the
Those
end.
are like the tears.
Yeah. Where Kalea, the 11-year-old, says, passageway, passageway, sprinkle corn all around.
Oh my gosh.
Just passageway, passageway. This is her regular writing. Sprinkle corn seeds all around. So I think that was a little bit of the sprinkling of corn seeds from the great beyond of life and death and miracle and presence and absence of folks. Oh. Does anyone else have anything to say? Michael, do you have anything to say? Michael's here in the side.
Hi, Joni, can you hear me over
Yes.
here? It's Lori Tumer over on the other side of the hill.
My neighbor, I've been wondering about you. Wow.
I know, and I ordered your book this morning, and I saw your book tease, and it was just a gorgeous, gorgeous graphic, delightful thing to see, and I just can't wait to have it in my hands. So I thank you so much for this. This was so powerful for me. And
I'm so glad to hear from you. She's really less than a mile away from me. Oh, I see. There, I see you. We should talk. We should talk, neighbor. Judith, thank you beyond the amount you gave me. I learned how to edit again. I learned so much from you and your patience and your wild intelligence. You, like, I had like the best editor on planet Earth, I think.
Well, I learned from you all my entire life, almost 50 years now.
She was at Hope's birth. She brought the champagne and the chocolate cake. Well, folks, I think you should get to work now.
Judith also,
Bye-bye,
Judith also
Joni.
introduced me to Leland. We have to give her credit. She's our yenta. She introduced Leland and I to each other. So
That's my proudest thing. That's my proudest thing. Hopi, I think I know your husband.
Yeah, she knew. Jade Bird or Crystal or Clay would not be if it weren't for Judith. So we could thank you for a lot of things.
Pretty remarkable. Hi, Tricia. I think I should sign over and out, or else we'll be hanging into the dinner hour, and I'm not ready to feed all of you.
Start cooking.
I'm going.
Goodbye,
All right.
everybody. Thank
Bye-bye,
you so
Joni.
much. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye-bye,
Thank
Joni.
you.
Que la vaya bien.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.